You are watching
When
Xirtus.
I met
Yes.
you, I knew immediately. I knew immediately, and we didn't do a video right away. I knew immediately that you were going to be somebody that I cared about for the rest of my life because I could just tell. You were somebody, and I don't want to patronize you. I don't want to make you feel like patronized in any way because it's not everybody that you just meet and you know this is somebody that's going to be my friend forever, you know? But you're somebody like that. I want you to know that. And the way you describe love, it's so confusing to anyone without an education because the way we've destroyed the idea of love so that love is just one word instead of, the Greek have 9 words for love. There's at least 3 decent ones for Europeans. But most of the time when they think of love, they don't understand that there's brotherly love, there's philosophical love, there's spiritual soul connection to a person's purpose. I know that when I met you, your whole purpose was going to affect me. And I was hoping to God that I could do something other than destroy your life. Because that's something I see happening to you. I see the entire world aimed at the destruction of your spirit. And in a funny way, you're a freaking hero because you're actually fighting against the destruction of yours and therefore all of our human spirit. Okay, I know. But let me just like explain to people why I'm saying this because I think a lot of people are like, bro, calm down. All right, here's my buddy. He's from Nigeria. Nigeria is a hard place to live in. And in the last few months, they basically destroyed this man's. I mean, they already last year. You guys have seen. If you haven't seen Africast, please watch. Go back on my channel. Watch like 4. I think we have like 4 episodes, maybe 5, over the last few years talking to ABIZA. But what you don't necessarily know, if you haven't been paying attention, is how terribly bad it's gotten in Nigeria. And the destruction isn't just abstract. It's not like, oh, there's no food in that other town. No, this is my friend's life being destroyed. This is him watching his town being destroyed. This is a guy who works in a bank, okay? Watching the entire town be burned to the ground. And he had to be brought in to a refugee village. I know, I'm sorry to bring it up because I know you live with this obviously every day. But I don't think these people ever bothered to read the news to know what's going on in the world and how they destroyed your town. They destroyed your town. Not only did they destroy your life, they destroyed the lives of so many people. And I just want to bring it up. I mean, I know it's like annoying to talk about, but you're such a strong guy. You're such a strong man. You are a strong man, and you deserve to be recognized for surviving essentially, a political and religious war that's happening
Well,
in a psychological war that's happening in your world.
it's pretty exciting, and I feel emotional that there is someone out there that can hear me. There's someone out there that listens to me, and I feel so emotional about that. I do not take that for granted, Andres. I do not take it at all for granted, and I'm so grateful. You know, like I said earlier, I think we are behind the camera. Sometimes the government controls the media. They control what the outsiders see. They control what the world see. And I do agree that Nigeria in itself, has not been living up to its responsibility, which have earned us a very bad reputation all over the world. But notwithstanding, it's good to see someone who listens to the two sides of the story, because many a time people listen to one side of the story, and we all know the danger of a single story. It's never complete, and it is fallacious, to say the least. And having you as someone who listens to the two sides of the story, who knows that at least actually what the media is actually saying about us most of the time is not true, and what many people are thinking about us is not true. I feel happy to have someone like you. And again, you remember the last broadcast that we had, and many people try to discourage you to stop talking to me. And I remember some time ago, somebody told you that, oh, Nigeria, you know what? Why should you have something to do with your Nigerian? These are people who you focus on the single story. They do not care about the other side of the story. And I'm pretty happy that you are here with me today. 5 years is not a beans. It's not something that I take for granted, and I appreciate that. And your friendship is what I cherish. Sometimes you may not believe this. You are that one person that whenever I think of, I do not think of giving up. You understand? Your words alone make me keep going. Sometimes what people need is not really money. Sometimes people just need someone to tell them that, oh, don't give up. I love you. And that alone can keep them alive, can keep the hope alive. It's one thing for somebody to be alive and be struggling. It's another thing for someone to be there saying, you can do it. I believe you. You can do it. I believe you. You know, that's a medicine to me. That's the medicine that I need. And you've been doing that for me. And I'm very, very grateful. In fact, before now, I will admit that I never thought that there would be someone there who will also tell me, oh, I love you, I appreciate you, things like that. But today, look at me. I'm talking to the world through your platform. That alone, I appreciate it. Wallah, I appreciate that. You know, so I do not take it for granted. I feel really, really excited. And for the sake of the audience who have not been with us since the beginning of this conversation, right from 2021, 2020 or thereabout, you know, I, I remember ABIZA. ABIZA is my name. And when I met you in 2020, I was a school teacher in the primary school. And after some time, I had opportunity to be working in a bank. You understand? Having worked in a bank, it has not been easy because of so many attacks. Just last month, you can check it out on the news. A new terror group has risen, the Lakurawa terror group, aside the normal Boko Haram and other terror group banditry that we've been having. We have a new terror group in town. And unfortunately for me, this terror group has its headquarters in Kebbi State, Nigeria, a state where I live. You can remember a few months ago, 2 months or so, I told you about a terror attack in my town where so many things were destroyed. And I've been rendered jobless and homeless. Even taking up the banking job in the first place was something that I had to do because I had no choice. Because when I
Let me
was a teacher,
say, let me say really quickly for people that don't understand this, you might have watched a movie about World War II. You might have in your life seen refugee camps. You might have seen like in Hollywood this idea, but you never lived through it. You never lived through what this man has lived through. You've never seen it on WhatsApp. You've never seen him when he gets a chance to send a photo to me, which is like, you don't understand what it's like to have scarcity of resources and then to use that energy, literal energy, to send information out to somebody just so that they could, not because he's thinking that I can actually do much about it, but just to prove that it's not insanity, what he's experiencing, but it's reality. And I want to say also really quickly before you continue, ABIZA, that as much as you wouldn't believe as much as I wouldn't believe necessarily that I couldn't understand, I can't understand what it's like for you, and I can't always be sure that I'm helpful to you. You should know. You should know that you inspire me to keep living. I know I don't have the same problems that you do, but that's part of why also I know that if you can, with this world, make choices, good choices that are actually making the world a better place and keeping you alive in them, that, you know what? I can probably survive. There's some things where I'm thinking to myself, oh, the world's gone to hell in a handbasket. But I know better, mainly through you. Sometimes you give me perspective I need to have. But yeah, I wish people understood what's going on in Nigeria right now. It's freaking crazy. It's really crazy. It's not just terrorists. It's not just Christians and Muslims fighting about religion. It's also Google. It's also YouTube. It's also any Western power that's suppressing both information reaching Nigeria, but also resources. I mean, I'm actually kind of upset when I think about it. I'm way more than kind of upset when I realize that for the last 5 years, anytime we've tried to work together to come up with a solution, there's been an Atlanticist power that's suppressed any sort of development or evolution of Nigeria. There's effort going into suppressing the progress of Nigerian people. There's actual effort being put in by banking powers and corporations that don't want Nigerians to succeed. And the only people that you're hearing about, therefore, are groups of terrorists, straight up, whatever you define non-state violent actors, like the Lakurawa group. I mean, I remember when I first was talking to you about jailbreaks, where they pulled the walls off of jails and released the terrorists back into the streets. And this is just what you have to live with every day. And everyone just acts like it's chill. It's totally cool. You can handle it. What's going on?
Yeah, Andre, is quite unfortunate that the Nigerian state is like a state of nature, the Hobesian state of nature, where it's all about the survivor of the fittest. Life here is quite uncertain and very short and brief at the same time. I mean, like I was saying, the Lakurawa group is a new terror group that have emerged in Nigeria, and unfortunately, this terror group have their headquarters in my state. And you remember a few months ago, I told you about a terror attack in my community, and unfortunately, this have led to so many things that have rendered me jobless and somehow devastated right now. But notwithstanding, I really feel that the world doesn't really know much about what is going on in Nigeria, because I feel we are behind the camera. I really feel that we are behind the camera because so many people do not know what is going on in Nigeria, and people have only heard the one side of the story.